Welcome to the Geek Easy. Sit back, grab a libation of your choice, and relax, 'cause it's time to do some geek stuff in the Geek Easy. Alright, welcome to the Geek Easy, fellow geeks. Grab yourself a strong drink today because we will be going over Gotham Knights, episode 4 of Butchers and Betrayers, I think it was called. Now, I have intimated in previous videos that there's not much that I'd rather, that would make me want to watch this episode instead of doing what I'm doing. Tuesday night I found out, yes, I'd want to watch this episode instead of being what I was doing. As if you can see, I have this on my arm. I actually had to go to the ER and got stuck overnight from Tuesday morning to Wednesday afternoon. Tried watching it in my room because they have those little VA hospital and they have those little TV things, and couldn't hear because there was somebody else in the room. There was always they were talking to the guy, and there was a lot of background noise, and I just couldn't, it's one of those TVs you couldn't hear well, and yeah, so I had to try and watch it when I came home today and was having issues, but I finally got to it. So, let's get to it. So, we are dealing with the Court of Owls. It starts out with a guy running through the park all crazy and kind of assaults the guy. Cops come up and he's yelling, "Oh, they're here, they're here, they're here," and distracts the cop, pulls the gun out and shoots himself with it. Then we jump to everything that's going on. Now, they are still trying to investigate. Oh, let me get rid of this stupid thing. Hold on. They're still going through the process of trying to figure out how or why the Court of Owls is going after Bruce Wayne by going over the history of all the Waynes for the past 100 years, because I guess a couple of them have died. And they find out that the knife that Talon used to attempt to kill the little brother of, there's the boy and brother and sister thief he tried to kill him with, they're trying to figure out something about that. And when this guy manages to go into the teacher's lounge of the school, so they're in the little loft, staying in the loft above, and nobody seems to notice that they're steal a huge one of those store-bought cakes and bring it up to the loft without anybody noticing. He uses it to cut it, and it falls to the ground, and the mark that it makes on the ground matches up with some of the stab marks or marks on the bodies, and they make a connection. It's like, okay, they're using this, and they start doing some investigating. Kind of a jump. But of course they have little plot conveniences that gee, all of a sudden, Joker's daughter, I can't remember her name, had a book about serial killers that she just happened to be given by her father, because her father, the Joker, wanted her to read the book, and it's because there was a section on him in it, and he didn't care, he didn't want anyone else to do anything else. But conveniently, they had a section in that book about the butcher of Gotham, who used knives like that to murder people about 100 years ago. And it's like, hey, why does Talon have this guy's knives? And conveniently, the butcher of Gotham had a daughter who's living in the old folks' home. Now, if he was butchered 100 years ago, or if he was hung 100 years ago, he had to have had the daughter over 100 years before, or at least, got a woman pregnant over 100 years ago. This woman was not anywhere near 100 years old. They go there and yada, yada, yada. It's the Cassie Brown. I mean, not Cassie Brown, but the one who's going to become a spoiler. I think her name is Cassie. Is going to volunteers to go to investigate, or to talk to the lady, but it turns out that it's Robin and the Joker's daughter, because the Joker's daughter, hey, we have something in common. We're both the daughters of serial killers, so maybe I can get through to them. So they do that, and spoiler decides to stay and do the investigation on more of the stuff, and stays there with the brother. So all just is really odd, just not odd, but wild coincidences that they have all this stuff. Because the brother goes and breaks into the Gotham City coroner's office to stick a little thing in there so they can get remote access to the stuff. Because, again, he can do this stuff. And it's just utterly ridiculous. They find out that, which we found out earlier, that Bruce Wayne's the woman who was supposed to be the new Alfred was working with the Court of Owls. The black man at the beginning who killed himself was Bruce Wayne's lawyer, and Bruce Wayne had gone 2 days before he died to change his will. And this guy tried to tell the district attorneys that, yes, Bruce Wayne changed the will and he's not putting the kid out of the will, so he had no reason to kill him. So that's why the Court of Owls killed him, because they went to talk to the lawyer's kid. So the Court of Owls killed them too. And it's just this whole really weird contrivance of stuff. And I noticed they do throw a couple of references to, the way things are supposed to be in the show. They've got a guy who is running against Harvey Dent for the mayor's office, for mayor. And he says, if Harvey Dent is running for mayor and all this, he should be able to protect us from all these killings that are going on. We don't need another two-faced politician. Gee, yes, throw in what Harvey Dent is actually supposed to be is Two-Face. And then someone made reference to the Iceberg Lounge. And it's just these, they're right in these like sheer coincidences that, you if it happened in real life, you realize that you'd be, you wouldn't, believe it. You'd say that you've been manipulated. And it's just horrible writing, lazy writing. And one thing else I need to remember, I should really organize my thoughts on this before I do this, but it's more fun this way. Harvey Dent found a key in his pocket. That's not his key. And he gets called, he goes out to the crime scene of where the mayor had been killed, his mayor's SUV, where he died in. They're looking through, the head detective is looking through it and trying to find fingerprints and all that. And it's just, yada, yada, yada. Do we know who did it? It says, no, but there's one key missing. And of course he sticks it in. He surreptitiously sticks the key in, and it works. Now, that is just stupid, bad writing, because if you actually know anything about a lot of these big cars, especially the newer ones, and this looked like it would be a newer one, they have keyless entry. You just type in a little code on there. I mean, it's been that way for years. So you wouldn't need a key to get in. You just need to know the code. And so this way they have this so they can try and make it look like he's getting set up to have killed the mayor when we know that he didn't. And oh my God, it was painful. And I actually had to pay to download this episode because I went to the CW app to try and watch, and it wasn't letting me do it. And I wanted to do my video on this, so I had to pay $2.99 to get this episode. And so now I have it, which I'm not going to rewatch. But anyway, so that's $2.99 I'm actually paying for punishment now. And especially after I realized that I'd rather be in the hospital for breathing issues than watch this episode and then have to pay for it. So I'm going to give this I'm going to give it go take it back. Now it's going to be at 0.25 again. I can't put it up at 0.5. Oh, and it's also another, this is also another episode of what I call CW Presents Gotham Knights, doing an impersonation of Mad TV's Pretty White Kids with Problems. Because now we find out that the brother and sister, their father was an alcoholic, was a horrible person. And spoilers, mom was a junkie. And so they're all bonding over the fact that, yes, we have normal people's problems. Sometimes our family members are not good. Mine are good, all good, but, it's teenage soap opera masquerading as a superhero show. And it sucks, and I can't stop watching it. So maybe I should get put into the hospital again, but not for physical stuff, for having mental problems up here. Who knows? We'll have to think about that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below whether I should check myself in for psych problems. But anyway, this episode had a ranking of 0.25. Let me know in the comments below what you thought and if you agree with me. And sorry for being a little late this week.